Hey everybody, how's it going out there? Welcome to Movies and Music with AJ. My name's AJ. Thanks for joining me. So today we're here with an album reaction. We're going to be listening to Grateful Dead and their 1970 album, Workingman's Dead. And I'm really excited for today because I've heard of the Grateful Dead, but I've never listened to any of their music, at all. So I have no idea what they even sound like. I know that the word jam band gets thrown around when talking about them. I'm also just familiar with the subculture of it all. I know the term deadheads. I know that people used to just follow them around the country, and sort of a whole little ecosystem or community just sprung up around following their tours. So I just think that kind of thing is really cool. And, I just wonder, I feel like that kind of thing doesn't happen as much, or at least there's not really bands nowadays that attract that kind of following. I might be wrong. Let me know if there's any sort of modern day equivalent of a band that, gets people to follow them just en masse around the country. As far as the jam band designation, I don't know if that implies anything from like a genre or sound standpoint, but in terms of bands that do play longer music, especially in their concerts, one of my all-time favorite concert memories was getting to see Manu Chao play at Red Rocks Amphitheater, and that is outside of Denver, Colorado. If you've never been, that place, Red Rocks, it looks gorgeous. It's amazing. But yeah, I got to see Manu Chao play there, a headlining set. His opener was Gogol Bordello. They were great also. But Manu Chao, yeah, he played well over 3 hours. I just remember dancing my ass off, getting sweaty and having a good time. I love when bands just go all out like that and will just, really give a show to the fans and just play, for hours on end. It's amazing. It's, just from a music standpoint, the endurance to be able to do that. And then also just from a fan standpoint, those are those concerts that you never forget. Those memories stick with you. And also I'm a big fan of the Mars Volta. They're no strangers to playing really long extended jams during their concerts. So yeah, basically the moral of the story is I'm no stranger to bands that jam, but I'm wondering if Grateful Dead is different. I don't know what their sound is like. I don't know what to expect really from a genre standpoint in terms of the kind of music they play. But yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and leave it at that and just jump right in. This is going to be my reaction to the Grateful Dead and their 1970 album, Workingman's Dead. Let's go. So I'm actually kind of curious, the title Workingman's Dead, with the apostrophe S, because it could be Working Man is dead, contraction for is, or it could be possessive. So this is dead for the working man.
Well, the first days are the hardest days, don't you worry anymore. 'Cause when life looks like easy street, there is danger at your
I'm liking the sort of harmonizing or, kind of cross-singing.
Let me know your mind.
I'm guessing because this was back in the day that those are all actual different vocalists doing this live,
Are you kind?
as opposed to just overdubbing one vocalist, which has always kind of been a pet peeve of mine.
Will you come with me? Won't you come with me?
This is very mellow, gotta say.
Goddamn, will I declare? Have you seen the light?
Just picked up the energy level a little bit just there.
Come here, Uncle John's bed, playing to the tide.
Okay, so this is interesting. When a band is singing a song that's about a band, kind of like, how the Beatles obviously have Sgt. Pepper's, and they're kind of in character for that. Is Uncle John's band, are they doing the same thing here?
Ain't no time to hate, barely time to wait.
Ain't no time to hate, barely time to wait.
I want to
Love that.
know, where does the time go?
Where does the time go?
Whoa, oh, what I want to know, how does the song go?
They saying how does the song go?
Come here, Uncle John's bed.
I like that. When they go just a little bit bigger on that chorus, just brings a little more energy to it. Okay, I'm liking that guitar. Has a little bit of a classical guitar, kind of almost like Latin. Almost a Latin sound to that, the way they were playing that guitar there.
How does the song go? Got some things to talk about. Here beside the rising tide.
Bring it back. Yep.
Come here, Uncle John's band, playing to the
I don't know if there's a name for that technique, but I do like that in songwriting where the instruments all drop out, get that nice a cappella, and then just bring it right back in. I feel like that's just such a classic technique. Okay. My first Grateful Dead song. I like where it's going so far.
How was I to know? I was having a hard time living the good life.
Man, I want to say his voice and some of this instrumentation is very reminiscent of the Beatles. I wonder if that's a weird comparison to make, if anyone ever says that.
Now listen here, baby. Cause I mean what I say. Living the good life.
I definitely know that being under the influence of certain mood-altering substances was definitely part of the subculture of this band. And I can already see why with the song called High Times.
No one to fight. I came to you.
The slide guitar.
Wheels broke down.
I do like a little bit of a folky sort of Americana touch. I did not grow up with any sort of country or folk or Americana in my life. I grew up on the West Coast, but I've since, come around as an adult. I've dabbled a little bit in country and folk, and there's some good stuff out there.
Cause you know what I'm saying. Living the good life.
It's such a chill, mellow vibe. This is definitely a vinyl record. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's like certain types of music. I feel like some music I like to listen to when I'm driving to and from work. It's just good driving music. Some music is just good, like Sunday afternoon, throw it on the record player kind of music. And this feels like that.
Well, I know.
Okay, nice little mellow track there. I like it. This song's called Direwolf. Did George R. R. Martin grow up listening to this band?
In the timbers up in Ario, the wolves are running round. I said my prayers and went to bed. That's the last they saw of me. Don't murder me.
Don't murder me? Those lyrics do not match that music, but let's see where it goes.
Was grinning at my window. All I said was, come on in, but don't murder me. I beg of you, don't.
Is he talking to the direwolf? You'd have to hope that your direwolf speaks English for this message to come across. And even then, the wolf would still have to consider it.
My cards, we sat down for a game. In the back wall shopping area.
Yeah, that's pretty sure that's slide guitar, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but I just love that sound of that instrument. Makes for really good solos too.
Please don't murder me. Please don't dominate the rap track. If you got,
All right, we're gonna go a little more blues.
if you please
I can
don't
dig
back
it.
up the track. This train has got to run today. I don't know, but I've been told it's hard to run with the way to go.
Love the attitude of this song. It's like a divey honky tonk bar type of energy to this one. Yeah, this song is way more whiskey than it is psychedelics. Nothing wrong with that though.
Things went down we don't understand, but I think in time we will.
I love what this lead guitar line is doing. It's just kind of doing its own thing, but not so much that it's like taking away from the song. Although I started listening to the vocals first, and at a certain point I trailed off and was just following that guitar line, so I don't know.
I spent a little time on the mountain. I spent a little time on the hill.
Yeah, these little guitar flourishes that are happening. Just
if the horse don't pull, you got to carry the load. I don't know whose back's that strong.
I love that line. If the horse don't pull, you got to carry the load, but I don't know whose back's that strong. Feels kind of like saying like everyone needs help, but if you don't have that help and you try to carry the load by yourself, like few people are strong enough to do it on their own, you know what I mean? By it, I'm just talking about life.
One way or another, this darkness got to give.
Yeah, one way this darkness has got to give. Yeah, it just seems to me like he's talking about like, you know, if you're going through hard times, you know, dark times, that, you know, you're going to need some sort of help. You know, you're going to need people. Cumberland Blues.
I can't stay much longer, Melinda. The sun is getting high. Gotta get down to the mine.
This chorus is the first that I've caught even sort of a hint of what I would consider like psychedelic music. See, again, I don't really know what genre they're supposed to be. I know they're a big part of the psychedelic movement.
I gotta get down, or I can't work their nose.
A little bit of country twang. Yeah, I'm not really hearing psychedelic rock the way you would think of like a Jefferson Airplane.
A lot of poor men make a $5 bill, but keep him happy all the time.
Sounds like a different vocalist. Do they use multiple vocalists?
Cry. Can I go, buddy? Can I go down? Take your ship after mine.
I do quite enjoy some harmonizing, so I think that's one of the things that when I listen to folk or country, it's one of the things that always hooks me in, is that harmonizing.
A lot of poor men got the Cumberland blues. He can't win for losing. I don't know now, I just don't know if I'm going back again.
Black Peter. Going a little more on the mellow end of things, probably.
I was laying in my bed and dying, but who can the weather come in? Just
Ooh, a little bit of organ.
wanna
Is
have
that the first we're hearing organ on this album?
a little peace to
Love a good organ.
die. Fever roll up to
I don't know what it is about this genre of music recorded during this era. Like, there's still plenty of bands out there today doing the whole folk and country and Americana. And then I hear this, and this just sounds way more authentic. It sounds warmer. And I'm not listening to a vinyl right now. This is a digital copy of this album. It still has that warmth, though.
and it's just like any other day. Shine through my window, and my friends, they come around.
I know I gotta be in the moment and actually, you know, really absorb this music and listen to this song. But this whole vibe is just getting me really excited for like what future classic rock down the line I can listen to on this channel. Like, I'm so ready to just dive into this era. I know a lot of the really big names, like the Beatles are one of my all-time favorite bands, like everybody else. Not unique in that regard. But yeah, I never really got into the folksy side of classic rock, and I am eager to do that. Give me your recommendations in the comment section.
Run and see. Run and see.
Run and See, that has the same energy as there's this expression that's gone sort of viral or become a meme in the last couple of years Let's fuck around and find out. Pardon the language. But Run and See has that same energy. That fuck around and find out energy. It's like, run and see. You wanna know? You wanna know? Run and see. Easy Wind. Second to last track. Okay. That was a strong way to come in. Oh, the drums are really catching my ear on this one. Ooh, yeah, just those little fills.
Doctor say better stop balling that jack. If I live 5 years, I'm gonna bust my back. Yes, I will. 'Cause there's a whole lot of women, mama, out in red on the streets today.
See, I mentioned Zeppelin earlier. This feels like a kind of stripped down, acoustic-ish version of something they would do. Gotta say, I think this might be my favorite track on the album so far. Just loving the energy and the vibe of this. Gotta say, there's some definite attitude to this band, or at least to this album. It's like a little bit of badassery underlying a lot of this music. Nice. This is the part where I apologize if after the fact in the edit I had to chop that solo up. But if I did it, it's no disrespect to the musicians. It's just that for copyright reasons, I can't always just put a big chunk of music uninterrupted. So it might be chopped up. I enjoyed every second of that solo though. Ooh, I like that change up. Yeah, it's definitely my favorite track on this album. And I think it's pretty much, like I said, I've been a long-time fan of Led Zeppelin, and yeah, they have these sort of bluesy numbers too, so it makes sense that I would like it. Casey Jones. I grew up on Ninja Turtles. Pretty sure that was the name of the character who wore the hockey mask.
Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. Driving that train, pound cocaine. Casey Jones, you better watch your speed.
If I was gonna have a train conductor on any drug, like what would be the least concerning? Like you don't want a drunk conductor, but you also don't want like a really baked out of his mind one either. Although they say people drive more cautiously when they're driving high, but don't drive high. PSA.
Driving that train, pound cocaine.
Train 102 is on the wrong track. Yep.
Watch your speed.
Makes sense, man. That coke energy.
And you know that notion just crossed my mind.
So this song is about a guy named Casey Jones who's a train conductor and he's high on coke. 1970, I didn't realize people were doing a lot of coke back then. If you grew up in the 90s, you always just associate coke with the 80s, right? You forget that certain drugs have been around for a long ass time. I mean, there was cocaine and Coca-Cola, right? That's why it was called Coca-Cola. It it's just funny, certain drugs get associated with certain eras.
Come round the bend, you know it's the end. The fireman screams and the engine just gleams.
The fireman screams.
Found cocaine. Casey Jones.
This is the most whimsical, just like easygoing song about a horrific tragedy.
Trouble ahead, trouble behind. And you know that.
I do love that lyric, trouble ahead, trouble behind, because in this case it feels very literal. This guy's had this runaway train situation, but it's just a good like metaphorical kind of line about life in general, you know? Trouble ahead, trouble behind.
Driving that train, I'm cocaine. Casey Jones, you better watch your speed.
Loving the drumming on this part. Yeah.
And you know,
That snare work.
and you know that notion just crossed my mind. And
Yeah,
you know
I
that,
like that.
notion just crossed my mind.
Okay. That was the closing track. Wow, what a quick album. Yeah, that's a fun song too. Like I said, it had sort of a really just easygoing nature about it, a little bit of a whimsy to it. But meanwhile, it's about a dude who apparently, did some coke while he was driving a train. And yeah, definitely don't do that. All right, Working Man's Dead. So I think I kind of got my answer. I was wondering whether or not Working Man's Dead, that apostrophe S, if in this case it was meant to be possessive, as in, is this dead for the working man? Or is it a contraction of working man is dead, which would be, pretty strong statement to be making, right? Saying that the working man is dead. But yeah, this definitely seemed like a lot of these songs were about working class issues, working class struggles. In the song Cumberland Blues, he was saying, the poor man has got the Cumberland Blues. There was another song, and man, I forget which one it was, but he opens up talking about how the doctor tells him if he keeps jackhammering that he's going to have back injuries and back problems. And then you end it with the song Casey Jones, which is about a train engineer. So yeah, it's just kind of a lot about the struggles and the mishaps and the misfortunes of, being a working man. One thing that really surprised me was just how brisk and just to the point and brief this album was. It was only 36 minutes long, which that's a really short album. Like a vinyl record could hold 48 minutes more or less. I feel like a lot of bands from this era really try to max it out and get as close to the 48 minutes as possible, but I gotta respect just how quick and to the point this album was. Let me know, fans of the band, deadheads if you will, did they come out of the gate as a jam band who would play these really long sets? Or is that something they evolved into over time? This album came out in 1970. What was their reputation around this time? And honestly, I'd like to know, because I did Google, what's the best album to start with this band. And, people pretty much either agreed that it was this album or American Beauty. But these are not their first albums, right? They had a handful of albums before this. So what is it about those early albums that makes them not the best place to start? Is it just that these albums are that good, or did they just change and evolve and this is more representative of the sound that they would come to have as opposed to maybe their earlier stuff? I know that does happen with a lot of bands where their early material sounds nothing like their later material. I'm guessing it also doesn't hurt that it is a 36-minute album. Anybody can listen to that. Who doesn't have time for a 36-minute album, right? I will say, from just a sound perspective, as somebody who had never heard any of this band's music before, I didn't know quite what to expect. I had ideas just based on the notion of, what it means to be a jam band. And, I know they're affiliated with Northern California and that subculture, sort of the hippie subculture. So, I could take sort of educated guesses of what I might expect to hear. But yeah, despite being a rock band, I guess you could call them that, I really liked how much they leaned into sort of roots music, a lot of Americana and folk. We were getting that steel guitar. We got a little bit of organ in there. We're getting some blues. We're getting some Americana. I feel like it was a pretty good intro to this band, and it makes me want to listen to more. I'm for sure going to listen to American Beauty at some point in the next, couple months. I don't want to, just binge all their music. I want to take some time, and just so much music that I want to explore on this channel. But yeah, I'm for sure at this point definitely going to listen to American Beauty and see where we go from there. Yeah, I just like the diversity of sound of this band. Every song sounded just a little bit different. They had some of their more bluesy songs, some of their more country songs. They had some ballads on there and some more up-tempo. But like I said, Easy Wind, that's got to be my favorite track on this album. I just love the attitude of that song. It was just like walking around with some swagger to it, you know? But yeah, that's, you know, the vocal performance on that, the guitar on that, the drums, it was all really clicking for me. Yeah, there wasn't a bad song on this album, but Easy Wind for sure took the cake for me. And I don't know why I was just putting this band off for so long. You know, I just assumed that it was going to be something that just wasn't my taste. And maybe if I would have listened to this, you know, in my teens or 20s, that might have been the case. You know, it might not have clicked for me. But at this point, you know, having just put in a decade plus of listening to the Beatles and listening to Led Zeppelin, like, this doesn't feel that far from either of those bands. It, you know, feels like it meets somewhere in the middle, especially if you're thinking like later Beatles and like the album Let It Be. You know, at that point, they were going a little more folky and country themselves. And then with Led Zeppelin, you know, that blues inspiration was always there. And so, yeah, there was a little bit of that blues touch on this, too. So, yeah, this album does not feel out of place at all with the classic rock that I'm into. So that is why I'm eager to jump into more of it. Yeah, who knows? I'll get around to it in the next couple months. But like I said, there's just a lot of music I want to dive into. But I'm definitely keeping the Grateful Dead on that list of bands to return to every now and then. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going to go ahead and end it for today. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to follow along with more of my album reactions, I highly recommend it, doing it every week. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Signing out for today, this has been Movies and Music with AJ. My name's AJ. Thanks for watching and have a good day.